So here I am. I had stuff that I had to do today. I apologize. And then I just got informed about a half an hour ago all of the weird shit they're posting. Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth. You know, the thing to convince people that you didn't murder Owen and you weren't involved with Owen, or you weren't involved with murdering Isaac and murdering all these people, you know the best way to convince people of your innocence? Make fucking videos where you're telling me that I'm going to be murdered and that you're going to murder me and you're coming after me and you're going to, you know. You dance around, parading around that you're quite capable of murder, threaten it constantly, feel all big and bad, and then you get all butthurt when people look at you like you're psychopaths that murder people. You know? But people are watching that, and I have the same question for them. It's not so hard to look at them and the shit that they're doing and then consider the fact that they murdered Owen and were involved with murdering Isaac and God knows how many other people. And people are like, well, they dance around. They laugh about it all the time. So no, it's not hard to actually see it at all. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Smokey. And so, I don't know how long this one's going to be. I had stuff that I had to do. That's why I'm late. I apologize that I went on at 4 instead of 2. But, then people sent me screenshots. They're, you know, first of all, no one's going to believe. If they hurt me and they go tell people that I committed suicide, no one is going to believe them. No one is going to believe that because it's stupid. Thank you. $2.99 at Goodwill. The best thing about what I'm doing now at Goodwill, buying these shirts, is that around here, I guess no guys want to wear these shirts. And so they're always really on sale, you know. I was a minute and a half late. Shit, I'm 2 hours and a minute and a half late because I was supposed to go on at 2, Smokey. But I like this kind of crap. You know, I like it, and it's summertime, and so so when you actually that's all I ever shop at is at Goodwill because I'm just too I'm poor. I want to say I'm cheap, but I'm cheap too because I'm poor. And so I won't even go to TJ Maxx. You can't even get me to spend $14 on a shirt. But now when I can go to Goodwill, buy something like this only cost me $2.99, you know? And so, and it fits perfect. It's rayon, so it flows. I just won't spend the money. But, they're mad that you guys helped with the blog. And again, I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You know, a lot of rich people drop off basically new stuff at Goodwill all the time. Especially like the Goodwills in Bellevue. I know they were saying, oh, David Shurter better stay out of Bellevue. Dude, Bellevue is so not soft on crime. If I had committed crimes in Bellevue, they would have already gotten me. Because Bellevue is well known. They have crazy police there. And so they just don't put up with shit. It's just stupid. It just is really weird. How many hours a day do they spend obsessing about me? Those videos have to take some time. Shit, there's I think there's 3 or 4 today. Yesterday there was like 7. You know, I think they wake up in the morning thinking about me, and then they spend the entire time thinking about me all day, making all these videos, watching everything I do, and then posting all these videos. How much fucking time does that take? You know, then they go to bed and they probably dream about me. And the funny, saddest thing about it is I don't even watch their shit. You know, I don't even click on it. I don't click on it because I'm not giving them a view. I'm not giving them a view. I won't give them a view. And so I don't ever watch their shit. And so people, you know, tell me, hey, they posted this video. And so I ask them, what's the video about? What are they saying this time? And so they tell me what the video's all about. Hey, Mary, I just got this today at Goodwill. $2.99. $2.99. And I know it's kind of gross, but I don't think anybody wore it. It's a brand new shirt. You know? It's just something colorful, you know? But they're upset. They're upset that blog is now taken care of. They're upset that you guys like me. That I think the issue is that nobody likes them. You know? Nobody likes them. And they shouldn't have come and murdered Owen and bragged about it. Because they thought that there was nothing I can do, and they obviously don't know me. Let alone child trafficking. And all of their child trafficking stuff. I love taking people. I love going to Goodwills with people. So Elizabeth, anytime you want to go to Goodwill with me, I love to go to Goodwill. You know? And I look at women's clothes all the time. Not because I wear women's clothes, but because I'm always looking to find something to cut up. It's the best way. And now that Joann Fabrics is closed down, it's the cheapest place to buy material. You know? But you guys convinced me. I bought this shirt thinking, okay, well, if I hate this shirt and if I wear it and I hate it, then I'll just cut it up and use it in a bag. But I actually kind of like it. It's kind of, you know, it is sad about Joann's. I had to go to Petco right beside Joann's, and I was just sad. I was looking for a iron-on stabilizer. I used to just go to Joann's and get it. And I went to Michael's today, and Joann's is telling everybody Michael's is taking, but the Michael's that I was at didn't have any fabric. So I don't understand that. My brother owns a thrift store. That would be kind of fun. For years in town, I worked at the food bank in town. Also has a clothing room that people donate to. And I worked. Michael's is overpriced. I went and looked around, and it was just like I wasn't going to buy anything there. Chances are they'll be the next ones that go bankrupt because their prices are just super high. Oh, I would do that, Elizabeth. I love to shop for people. I do. I love to shop for people. I love to go out. I actually like to shop for people more than I like to shop for myself. Because generally when I go out, I don't buy anything, you know. I went to a few places today just because I had the time. Well, I actually didn't have the time. I was supposed to go. But I told you, Sharlyn, you're going to be really busy today. That's the sad part about it. You're going to be really busy today. But I went out and just went out and didn't find, I don't buy hardly anything. Well, because I'm poor. You know, and so, but it was good to get out and about and away for a while. And so, I don't even really know what to talk about. I'm still just reeling about yesterday and how wonderful you guys are and how different I have it than so many other survivors. I buy my paint at Home Depot. I do buy stuff at Home Depot. Some of it is pricier, but Home Depot you can find some fairly good stuff. That's the reason why it has the nickname. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad. So I don't even, you guys need to help me because it's 1,000,000 degrees. It's been 1,000,000 degrees. I've been running around and ended up having a really good conversation with this dude. I don't know if he was homeless or not, but he didn't have an arm. And so, as you guys will probably think I'm just a dumbass, but I only had a little bit of money in my pocket, but I ended up giving him the majority of my money. He doesn't have an arm. He has it worse than I do. You know, like I said, when people help me out, I end up using that to help other people out as well. Even when I just have stuff, I just like to help other people because there are people who don't have it. With everything that I've gone through and everything that I'm going through, I still kind of feel like I'm blessed. I mean, it's hard to say I'm not blessed. And so, you know, and that's why I don't worry about all of their stupid shit. Always pay it forward. Exactly. Always pay it forward. You know, and, but a couple of you sent some donations and I put those away because eventually it's all being saved because Sharlyn and I are going to go eat. We don't know when we're going to go eat, but, and then my problem is I'm watching TikTok and TikTok is now pulling up restaurants. They're reviewing restaurants in Omaha, Nebraska. And there's this place called Texas de Brazil. And it's one of those Brazilian steakhouses. And they were watching it. I was watching them cut. Oh my God, it looked good. Oh my God, it looked good. But it's not a place you want to go alone. But I'm always trying to pay it forward. That's what these videos are kind of too, you know? So why don't I just start off with prayer? You know, let's just start off with prayer. Because, I don't know, it's Sunday, all glory goes to God. I keep looking down because my screen door is open, and I have a fly in here that obviously is in love with me because it keeps landing on my ankles, and it's driving me insane. I have my trusty fly swatter here, right here, but it's obviously smarter than I am. And so, okay, let's pray. God, I come to you, and what are those emojis? Are those ghosts? Because if those are ghosts, I want you banned. Especially with what fucking Daniel Dowd is posting. He's posting murder videos today. That's what he's posting. Murder videos and videos of me committing suicide and guns and dead bodies. Seems like an innocent, decent dude, right? You know, would never, ever commit murder and kill anybody. You know, never. And so, that's what he's posted. That's why I got the phone call that I did, because they wanted me to know the videos that they were sending, you know? And so, it was just bizarre. And I'm saying bye. So, okay, let me pray. Heaven, we come to you, and I'm just grateful. I am grateful. I was thinking that I was in this all alone for a while last week, and now I realize I'm so not alone, and that there are so many people out there. And reading scripture actually helped me out a great deal, because what are we supposed to do at this time? We're supposed to promote the word. The word is supposed to go all over the world. People are supposed to be exposed to it. And what is that word? That word is love. Jesus Christ, your son, our brother, came down and taught us all about it. The scriptures of Jesus Christ are not only life-saving, but soul-saving. And if we have any questions, we can just refer back to the Gospels of Jesus Christ to know where we're going. And I just want to say how grateful I am, not just for you and the grace that you have around me, but the people that you have sent to me, the people that come to these lives, that we're able to exchange ideas and love and support each other. It's just, this is building in a way that I never anticipated it building. And I'm grateful. And I know that it's not about me. And that's what I'm grateful for too. It's not dependent upon me. You know, I think it's happening no matter what. No matter what. We're all supposed to be here. We all have our own place. And we're all your children. And so we're all important. And we're all here for our own reasons. And help us to find what those reasons are. Help us to glorify how we can glorify your name the most. I'm probably going to pray again in this live at the end because I just feel compelled to do that. But I wanted to start off saying thank you before I even get into this live. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for everything that's going on in my life. Thank you for everything that's going on in other people's lives. Those who are having problems. There are many of us who are concerned about Lavidia. And I've reached out to her and haven't heard anything, and I am concerned. So please, if there are issues there, please help her. And there are so many of us out there that need your grace, and we know that you're there and that you care, as rough as these days are. And we say these things in your Son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. I am live. And so, and I'll probably pray again at the end. I just feel compelled. You know? It is good to see you, Bluck. I'm glad that you guys are all in here today. It might end up being a longer video or a shorter video, who knows? It's hot out here. Pretty soon I'm probably going to go upstairs. Not this one, but some of these lives I'm going to start doing them upstairs, because when it gets to be 90, 100 degrees, it's just too hot in here. Come on in. Come on in. Hey, Susan. Thank you, by the way. You want to... Come on. You want to go in? Go in. Sorry. When they're used to having people. Oh, 102 is just, this heat is oppressive. And in the Midwest, the humidity is just hellish. Hellish. Hey, Katie. And so, yeah, what Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth don't realize is that they're proving my point. They're fucking psychopaths. They're psychopaths, you know? And they do psychopathic shit, and then they get mad when people call them out on it. And when they're out there threatening to murder me, it is not such a leap to think that they came in and murdered Owen, especially since they bragged about it. And to be quite honest, I had never seen pictures of Isaac on that bridge until just a couple days ago. And then someone sent me that picture of Isaac on the bridge. He's obviously dead. Look at the color of his hands. You know, the dude is dead. No one sits like that. All the videos that he did, when did he ever sit like that? His face is expressionless. The dude is dead, you know? And what they're mad about is that I'm not going to let it go. And I seem to actually... What I see with all of their bullshit is that they are so focused on me and they're freaking out. They're obviously freaking out. They spend all day, every day, making videos about me the whole day. You know? And so there are so many loose ends to the Isaac Happy story. And they ain't going to be able to play me like they did Isaac. I'm no longer isolated. There's no way you're going to actually be able to hurt me, and people are going to look away. On here or in my town. You know, those flyers did me a huge service. Because the people who didn't know me have been talking, but there are plenty of people in town who did know me, and they're all talking and informing all the people about me. You know? And I don't run. You know, I'm not going to run. Oh, they're going to have a rough time coming up, Susan. Trust me on that one. Whether or not on this side, who knows? But they're having sad days ahead of them. The dark has all of them by the short and curlies. And there's no way for them to beat what is in control of them. You know? There's no... It is toasty. It is 89 degrees in this room. And I have all of the windows open. And you can hear the birds, because now I'm out here. It was quiet when I got out here. But again, now that I'm talking, they hear me, and they're all in the tree right next to me, just singing. I don't see any of the squirrels yet, but the dogs are in. The pawns are about to learn that loyalty works one way. The reason why Gio and Daniel Dowd are freaking out is because they're going to be the first ones thrown underneath the bus. And they have to know that. They have to know that they're going to be the first ones thrown under the bus. And so, if I were them, I would be afraid too. You know? I would be afraid. Because they'll be the first ones. Thomas Schoenberger has no loyalty to anybody. Himself. That's it. Neil Gross, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff. Only cares about himself. If it comes down to them or him, he's going to choose himself and throw them under the bus. The same thing with Thomas Schoenberger. Same thing with Corey Daniels. Same thing with Tara Joyce. Same thing with Gabe Hoffman. Same thing with Craig Sawyer. Same thing with DeFango. All of the Sewertown rats. Ron Patton. His entire group in Olympia. You know, all of them. All of them. The minute that it starts to come down, you know, let alone Michael Aquino and Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, he's just... They all serve themselves, and this group eats their own. And it's a bad day to be a pedophile. That's all I'm saying. It's a bad time to be involved in a pedophile ring. People don't like pedophiles, and people are sick of pedophiles. And they're sick of this group. They're sick of this group doing whatever the fuck this group wants to do, and now they're fighting back. You know? That's how it works. And that's the reason why I was a minute and a half late, because I was watching a thing by J.D. DeLay saying that he was offered life-changing money for him and his wife. But he couldn't talk about pedophiles anymore, and he couldn't talk about the wood chipper or anything violent to the pedophiles. And the next thing, he clips over and he has a bat in his hand and he says, "Fuck the money. Nothing's changing." And that's how I feel, you know? But then the money I get is through donations. I'm not going to have people control me, you know? And so, oh, they won't say it to your face. Okay, they hide in the shadows. Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth are not even using their real names. I will say for Geo Farnsworth, at least you know it's Geo Farnsworth, because he'll do videos that has his face. But Daniel Dowd, all of those weird-ass videos that he's doing, he doesn't use his name. He doesn't use his face. He hides in the fucking shadows. The only time he's, you know... The only time that he's doing videos where he's showing his face is when he's doing those 5-hour videos talking about how he's meeting minors online to counsel them, you know? And again, my question is, do the parents know that he's meeting their kids? And do the parents know who he is and what he's done and what he's all about? Because they need to go see those videos is what they need to see. No one wants to see Daniel Dowd's face. Again, watch Legend. Go watch the movie Legend with Tim Curry playing the devil, and it a really good actress. The actress that's in there, she's, and Tom Cruise, and the Goblin. That's why I call him the Goblin Dowd, because look at the Goblin and then compare the face of that Goblin to Daniel Dowd, and it's fuck, they could be siblings. They could be twins, Thomas is something else. Thomas is something else. I think that he thought that he was actually that they were gonna psych out me and do all of that. Not realizing I've lived with this shit my whole life. So it's not hard for me to figure out what the hell is going on, because I've lived with this my whole life. And that's why people say, oh, when they break into your house and stuff like that, why aren't you scared? Because they've done it all of my life. They do whatever the fuck they want to me all of my life. I always have. The night of the harvest moon. See, shit like that, Susan, I don't even go out. I don't. On holidays that I know are important to them, I kind of just stick in. Just because most of them are psychopaths, and if they're not psychopaths, they're sociopaths. And so there's just nothing alluring about any of them. And if you find them fascinating or, are compelled to go around them, then you need therapy is what you need, because there's nothing good about them. That's the reason why they hate me so bad. Because when they do their shit, nobody responds to them like you guys do me and to each other, And that's what I've heard, is even with their stuff, they'll do their stuff, and the people in the chat are attacking each other. They're just it's just drama. And who needs it? You want to go in, sweetie? Okay, come on, let's go in. Turn. Come here. Come on, come in. It's too hot out there. Come on. I've been gone. Yes. As a child, I was well aware of Hunter S. Thompson. He was involved with all of the shit. The dude was a psycho. And you want to know what? Nobody liked him. Nobody liked him because he was a psycho. And he did all this weird shit all the time. And I am much more relaxed. Thank you. And so, who is John Galt? It's funny because Ayn Rand ran with that book. And I actually really like that book. Who is John Galt? Comes from... I'm having a brain fart. But, I didn't like the philosophy because I don't think greed is good. I can't think of that name. Maybe maybe you'll probably know who it is, who is John Galt. What the book is that... Who is John Galt was a question that was asked for this book. Ayn Rand ran with this book. Atlas Shrugged. Thank you. Atlas Shrugged. Who is John Galt is from Atlas Shrugged. Hunter Thompson lived about 40 minutes. And Susan, I am fascinated about this whole thing with Jack Nicholson. I am, because it doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. You know? I thought Atlas Shrugged was an excellent book. I didn't agree with all of the philosophies. Certainly didn't agree with Ayn Rand running with it. Lived her life, greed is good, went on and on and on about that. Do you know in the end she ended up on food stamps and Medicaid? Funny. You know? And so, but the book was amazing. Atlas Shrugged was an amazing book. It was really well written. And so, it was all about hedonism. Serving yourself is what you're supposed to do. That was the whole Ayn Rand. That's what she ran with, and she got it from Atlas Shrugged. I wasn't a big fan of Ayn Rand, but I liked Atlas Shrugged. Didn't like the movie, but I liked the book. Materialism and greed is old school hedonism. Hey, SC, it's nice to see you. Greed was a good movie, Smokey. Isn't that the one with the dude who was in Back to the Future? 3 movies. Atlas Shrugged was in, because Atlas Shrugged is one book, and then there's a couple other books. All right, there's more books that follow through. I loved the movie Greed. I thought Greed was funny. When that dude got up out of his wheelchair at the very end, it was just, that was an amazing, thank you for my shirt. $2.99 today at Goodwill. I have figured that I am now of the age that I can wear whatever the hell I want. And so I am wearing whatever the hell I want. And I like this kind of stuff. I almost didn't buy it, but Atlas Shrugged was, I read it when I was a kid. And and so I was, you know, I read a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't read now. Mein Kampf. Read Mein Kampf. Elizabeth, I'll make you some bow ties. I love making bow ties. This is... These are some of the bow ties I'm working on right now. This. This is another one. You know? I love bow ties. That's a lot of love for the shirt. So I'm not gonna cut this shirt up because lots of people seem to like this shirt. And so Mein Kampf was an interesting book. The dude Adolf Hitler, when he wrote Mein Kampf, it's a really fucked up way of looking at it. But in its own weird, fucked up way, it did have its bizarre kind of logic, you know? And so, not that I was a fan of it at all, obviously. I mean, Adolf Hitler, was the second Antichrist. Isn't he supposed to be? Napoleon was supposed to be the first. Hitler's supposed to be the second. Epstein Island is just one of many places. Epstein Island is no different than that ranch that Anton Scalia was murdered at. Same type of thing. And Epstein Island, the whole reason why I believe Trump has such a hold on the Republican Party is because he got all the blackmail information. It's not a coincidence that Barr showed up at that jail a week before Epstein ended up dead. And all of that stuff went to, I don't know what the ranch was called. I don't remember. But it had devil statues that were lined up. That was when Fiona was really heavy into all of this. And she and I were investigating. If you go on to my blog, davidshurter.com, type in Anthony Scalia, you can read all kinds of shit. You can see pictures of the hotel and the devil statue, the devil faces that line the hallways, and all of that. Childish comments will be blocked. Same with Mussolini. Mussolini was... Of course, Mussolini was kind of a dumbass. You know? You do have to say that Hitler was at least intelligent. Mussolini was just a thug. You know? So, Barr's family is interesting. It was Barr's dad that gave Epstein the job at the college teaching science, even though Epstein didn't have any kind of degree whatsoever. And it was just so he could go prey on that. And all the shit, what happened at Epstein's Island is the same shit that Thomas Schoenberger and Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth and Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. It's all the shit they're hiding. It's the same shit. With the same people. That's what I have a problem with all of this pedophile stuff. Oh, we've busted these pedophiles. We've busted these pedophiles. But no important people have been busted. You know? That's why I want them to investigate Thomas Schoenberger, Tara Joyce, Daniel Dowd, Geo Farnsworth, the whole Sewer Town group, DeFango, Ron Patton, Craig Sawyer, Gabe Hoffman. All of those people need to be investigated because they're completely connected to the same shit Jeffrey Epstein was connected to. They don't have to be connected to the island. That's what I'm saying, John Galt. You know, this is a spider web. Epstein's Island was one strand of the spider web. There's a lot of strands to the spider web. That ranch that Scalia was murdered at wasn't connected to Jeffrey Epstein, wasn't connected to Jeffrey Epstein's Island, and yet the same shit was happening. Franklin, the stuff that was going on in Omaha, Epstein wasn't connected to that. That predated Epstein. See what I'm saying? It's all the same shit. It doesn't have to be connected. You don't have to have everyone connected to it, because some of them are connected to this side, some of them are connected to that side, some of them are connected over here, some of them are connected over here. It's the same spider web, just different strands. What I'm saying, the names that I'm mentioning are names that I know. I've been at this for far too long. These are all the people that I am talking about are all people I've had to deal with throughout the years that I've dealt with this. That's what I'm saying. The people that I talk about, that I know, I'm just talking about what I know personally. From my own personal experiences in my own life. That's how I know this shit is happening. That's how I know that they're involved. You know? Wood chippers for evil. Leonardo DiCaprio got his big break by being part of this as a kid. You know? And he accepted it. Where Justin Bieber was connected to it as a kid, and it's basically destroyed him as an adult. You know? Dude, you need to go have therapy. James Cartledge needs to have therapy. You probably can't see anything because Sharlyn just blocked him. Because I told Sharlyn before this started today, she'd be busy. She'd be busy. Ah! Killer. Sorry. Weinstein is still in prison, but God only knows. Trump might end up pardoning him. He wants to pardon Diddy. Katie, I love that. No rest for the wicked in this chat. Relentless, but then so are we. Yes, we are, Katie. That's... In fact, we're more relentless than they are. And you want to know why we're more relentless than they are? Because we have something to fight for. Yeah, they're all into their evil shit and hurting kids and hurting people and making threats and all of that stuff. But our stuff is inside. It from the bottoms of our souls, we fight this. And that's what makes us stronger. Because we're compelled. Being relentless is okay as long as you're on the right path. Exactly. And Plato, you are totally right. Western counterintelligence. You know? But we fight them because we have a reason to fight. And whereas they all throw each other under the bus and all of that, what I have found is that we all support each other. You know, I have a feeling that many of us here would fight to the death for each other. That's the difference between our side and their side. Their side is willing to throw anybody under the bus they want. Our side, we'll fight to the death for each other. You know? No one's getting thrown under the bus with any of us. You know? And if they're trying to throw one of us under the bus, the whole lot of us take the bus out. That's how it works. You know? And so, know thyself, know thy God, know thy enemy. David Kloss, they murdered him during Franklin. But his mantra was, know yourself, control yourself, and give freely of your time and energy. And that's basically how it works for all of us. You know? The problem with the internet is that it's hard to become... I think that because I've been at this for 2 years and now all of us are starting to interact with each other, I think that things are we're starting to all get more personally acquainted with each other. Because when you watch the chat, it's not about just me. All of you guys are interacting with each other. I just have the venue that allows it to happen. But you guys are interacting with each other. We're all getting to know one another. Whereas on the internet, you can be whatever you want to be, and most people want to be fake. And I think the difference between that and many people in here is that there are a lot of people who want to be real in here. You know? That we're tired of all of the bullshit. And so we become, you know... We may be scattered, but we are one heck of a force to reckon with. There's a whole army of us here. I think we're from heaven, and there's a whole army of us here to help mankind get through this period. You know? What you see is what you get with me, Smokey says. That's very true. And sometimes I have to do this to my eyes. I'm just giving you shit, Smokey. Tribulation Saints. Wow, I love that, Susan. I love that. Okay, I heard a joke, and I'll tell you guys a joke. I'm not a good joke person, but I have a joke. It's just a tad inappropriate bait. So, there are three guys that die, and they go up to heaven. And Jesus comes out of the pearly gates and says, "We're kind of over capacity for today. So, I need to know only people who have died in weird ways get to come in." And so he looks at the first guy and says, "How did you die?" And he said, "Well, I went home and my wife was naked in bed, and so I knew there was another man there. And so I searched the whole house, and I searched everything, every closet, under the bed. I was just tearing the house apart. And then all of a sudden I look out on the balcony, and I can see him hanging on the balcony. I can see his hands. And so I go and I stomp on his hands, but he won't let go. So I go in and I get my hammer and I come back out and I start hitting his hands. And then he falls off of the balcony, but he falls into a bush. And I can see him that he's getting up. He's okay. And so I get the refrigerator and I push the refrigerator out over on the balcony and push it out onto him. And all of that exertion must have been too much for me. And I ended up having a heart attack and dying. And Jesus Christ said, "Oh, that's just harsh. Well, you go ahead and go on in." And then he looked at the other guy and said, "What happened?" And the other guy was just like, "I was working out on my balcony and I ended up throwing myself off of the balcony, but I was able to grab a hold of my neighbor right below me, their balcony, and so I was hanging there. And then all of a sudden some dude started stomping on my hands, but I was strong and I wouldn't let go. But then the dude went and got a hammer and was hammering my fingers, and I let go. But then I fell, and then by God's grace, I fell into a bush. And I thought, oh my God, God saved me. But the next thing I know, a refrigerator falls and kills me, falls on me. And God says, or Jesus Christ says, "Oh, that's terrible. Well, you go ahead and go on in." And then he looks at the third guy, and he says, "Okay, how did you die?" And the guy said, "Well, I'll keep this short. I was hiding in a refrigerator." But Jim, I'm not a big joke person, but I thought it was funny. And so, I don't know. Inappropriate. Probably on a Sunday, inappropriate. But they really hate me. God only knows. God only knows how many videos they're going to make from this one. Shit, an hour after the last live yesterday, they had one because I had my hat on. I look at my mentions just to count how many there are. Okay, I don't know what you guys are all talking about. Yep. Sharlyn has the power. And you want to know what? Sharlyn works with me. And this is my venue. I can do whatever the fuck I want with my venue. And so she does what I need her to do. And if you don't like it, tough shit. That's how I look at it. I think Sharlyn does an amazing job. In fact, I think that it is Sharlyn. I'm just so terrible with jokes. I'm so much better at being a serious person than I am. And my joke, I just didn't tell it right. I kind of suck at telling jokes. They won't say it to your face, Smokey. That takes actually balls. Let me explain to you about this group. I was at Michael Aquino's front door. This big and bad, everyone's afraid of him. Thank you, Susan. Everyone's afraid of Michael Aquino. I'm at his front door in San Francisco above Fisherman's Wharf, and I can hear him and Lilith talking in the background. Blah, 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 blah. Mentioned my name 4 times. And so all panicking, but wouldn't come to the front door. So that's the kind of shit you go through. Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, fancies himself this big and bad person. He can do all kinds of shit to you in the shadows, but he lived 24 miles away from me for 4 years, 3.5, almost 4 years. And although I didn't know it, he did. Never once did he come into my face. Never once did he say anything to me to my face. That's how the shit they do. Thomas Schoenberger, he has all of these fucking accounts that he'll do all this nasty shit to people, but as himself, oh no, he's too busy nailing himself to a cross and pretending he's a martyr. They're real big and bad when they can hide in the shadows and not be held accountable. Daniel Dowd, all of these accounts that he has, they're not from him. He doesn't have his face on there. There's no one counter to him, because then he can say, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. That's the shit that they do. You know? That's the shit that they do. And I know that they were in town the day of Owen's funeral because they tried to break into my house at 11 o'clock in the morning. I was doing a video downstairs and heard, because I had my front door booby trapped. So they tried to come into my house and it set off the booby trap, and I had to stop the video, go upstairs, realize someone was trying to break into my house. So while they're posting all these videos of Harlan, when Owen ended up dead, they're trying to break into my house at the same time. At 11 o'clock. They thought I would be at the funeral. They figured I'd be at the funeral. I didn't go to Owen's funeral. I didn't want to run into my sister. I did not want to see my sister, who fucking was working with Daniel Dowd. She knows all about it. Now she's busy trying to fucking commit fraud with my insurance company. You know? I don't think Aquino's dead, Mary. His eyebrows, and I don't think he's, you know. Kathy, only one left alive. Only one left alive. We're the only 2 left alive. You know? And she knows. I don't give a shit. I told her, don't ask for me. Don't ask anything from me in this life or any other. Ever. Ever. Our family owes a blood debt to all of this stuff, and she gets to pay it. You know? Smokey does work his ass off. And he's a good guy. You know? Oh, you know he did those eyebrows on purpose. You know he did those eyebrows on purpose. You know? I can't even see this jump. But if they're causing problems for anybody in here, let alone Smokey, just block them. You know? All of them are way out of their league. You know? That's the issue is that if they end up hurting me or taking me out or hurting my dogs or fucking with me now anymore, they're going to get a bunch of other people. I don't think Aquino is dead. I don't think Aquino's dead at all. When he committed suicide the first time was the exact same time Kathy started running around telling everybody that our stepmother was dead too. And then when I ran into our stepmother 3 years later at the Farmhouse Cafe and realized she wasn't dead, then suddenly people online started saying that Michael Aquino committed suicide a second time. And that was when I realized Aquino's not dead. Aquino's not dead. He's hiding. This big bad dude that everybody's afraid of because he's so powerful is fucking hiding. You know? We were all, my mother's name was Connie. But you didn't get that from my book. You didn't get that from my book. I never used my mom's name. Huh. You know, I think John Galt needs to go away, is what I think. Because what he just said there is way. You just need to block his ass. I didn't use my mom's name. Who the fuck is that dude? You know? Again, they come in here anonymously and think they're all big and bad, and they play all these fucking games anonymously, in the shadows, a secret. You know? Not gonna play. No wonder he fucking used who is John Galt. No wonder he used who is John Galt. You know? I just don't think he knew that I knew who that was. That I don't think he knew that I had read Atlas Shrugged. You know? It's the same fucking thing as yesterday. Daniel Dowd coming in saying, oh, my dog just died. And that was him threatening me and my dogs. You know? No drama in here. This is a drama-free zone. You know? If you're involved with these fucking child killers, go fuck yourself. It was a Fed handle, Plato. Because John Galt was from Atlas Shrugged. Chances are, Rory is now saying, I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Because they're threatening my dogs. Threatening me, threatening my dogs. They murdered Owen. They murdered Isaac. They fucking traffic kids. And they dance around and think that everyone's afraid of them. That no one can actually figure out their shit because everyone else is fucking stupid. Their narcissistic delusions tell themselves how impressive and important they are. You know? Cindy's kids are pieces of shit. Every fucking one of them. The one that I actually thought was going to end up being decent, Megan, ended up in a police shootout with her boyfriend and ended up dead. In a police shootout. Over drugs. You know, that's the epitome of Cindy's kids. You know? Do you know that the only one that turned out halfway decent was fucking Steven's kid? Steven, the most fucked up of my siblings. And his kid turned out to be amazing. You know? An amazing man. Went into the service, has made something out of his life. He's an amazing individual. The apple fell far from the tree with that one. It's hard to be intimidating when you ride around in a golf cart. And his fat ass, they were pointing at my house. It's just yesterday. That happened yesterday. Again, davidshurter.com. I have another fly in here. davidshurter.com. You can go to davidshurter.com. You can see all what we're talking about. And again, that blog, I'm posting on it pretty regularly now. But if you don't hear from me and something is wrong, Cognitive, Sharlyn, Smokey, they'll know. They'll know. You know? And so if you can't hear from me and you don't hear from me, dshurtermod@gmail.com. Just reach out to Sharlyn. Because Sharlyn will for sure know. You know? But so will Smokey, so will Cognitive, so will Gov. You know, there's quite a few of you in here that I'm not just going to disappear and no one's going to know. That's not going to happen. You know? Let alone I'm just going to disappear and no one's going to care. People will care. And I don't think you'll like how it works in the end. Because you want to know what? People in here care, but so does heaven. You know? Heaven cares. And the blog stays up. Thanks to all of you guys. The blog is up. It's totally secure now. Well, it's an hour. And yet the conversation is going really well. Well, Katie, I'm going to expose these child killers as best as I can. That's the reason why the Atlas Shrugged dude, who is John Galt, started telling me that I shouldn't be mentioning people just out and about. That was the reason why he was trying to discombobulate what I was saying. That was why he was, discombobulating. I don't have a unicorn, Smokey, and I'm not a unicorn, and I can't pull one out of my butt. You know? It's funny, when I started working at the food bank here in town, there was an older lady who worked there as well. She was a receptionist. And it was funny because she was she started talking to me. She has a grandson, and her grandson lives in Colorado. And she came and told me, dude, my grandson knows who you are. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, my grandson lives in Colorado. And my grandson lives in Colorado. And he was telling me, there's a amazing dude, a hero that just moved into your town, or right beside you. And she said, what? And he said, yeah, he's exposing all these pedophiles and all of that stuff. And he's exposing this stuff. And he wrote a book and everything. And she asked him, so who is this dude? And he was like, his name is David Shurter. And then he was all freaked out because she was just like, yeah, he volunteers where I work. I see him every day. I work with him. And he was just like, oh my God, And so that's why they're in here, because they don't like me mentioning it. If you want to know right now who's involved with all of the child trafficking that's big right now, that the whole group that is working together right now after Epstein: Thomas Schoenberger, Corey Daniel, Daniel Dowd, Geo Farnsworth, Tara Joyce, Gabe Hoffman, DeFango, the whole Sewertown group, Ron Patton, his whole little coven in Olympia, Washington, Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. They're all, if that group gets investigated, it will lead you to a bigger problem than Epstein ever was. Ever was. And I'm saying that because I have had interactions with every one of these people personally. So I'm not just speaking out my ass about people I don't know. Every single person I've talked about that I just listed, I have personal dealings with. Every one of them has reached out to me at one point or another in all of this. That group gets investigated, you're going to bust a huge part of this pedophile shit. especially Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, because they're using that after school, Papa John Watson, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, you fucking pedophile. You fucking pedophile. Isn't it just like a pedophile to actually call other people pedophiles when they're fucking kids? Unbelievable. Absolute freaks. Totally obsessed. You know? And this entire group is directly connected. It was the whole group that fucking murdered Isaac Cappy. That's the whole group. Craig Sawyer and Tom Schoenberger are the ones who fucking tortured Isaac Cappy to death. And it was Daniel Dowd and Corey Daniel that put his dead ass body on that bridge. And they thought it was all going to go away. And then 11 months later, they tried to murder me by blowing up the Earling, Iowa gas station. You know? You have Sharlyn's address, huh, dickhead? Gonna make threats to Sharlyn, to a woman, in front of everybody. Really? Well, you want to know one thing about Sharlyn? She's not fucking isolated either, fucking dickhead. You know? But I thank you for that, because they can find you because you had to use that. That is your Gmail. They'll be able to figure you out. You know? No, Sharlyn. I bite my thumb at thee. Needs to be eradicated from here. I'm in here calling them out, and now they're in here making fucking death threats to fucking Sharlyn. That's how this shit works, and it fucking pisses me off. Wobbly Bus needs to go too. They're all in here because the pedophile group is all afraid they're going to get exposed. You know? Wobbly Burst needs to go too, or Buster, whatever the fuck that stupid name is. They're in here now threatening Sharlyn. You know? You guys just keep it up. You're right. When you fucking fuck kids, expect to get fucked in the goddamn ass. That's how it fucking works. You know? You want to hide in the fucking dark and hurt kids. And you think you're fucking safe. And you think you're above everybody. And you're not above everybody. You're fucking little pieces of shit who hide in the goddamn dark. I'm just, you know, Sharlyn, I told you would be busy, you know? No, it's war you guys wanted. You wanted war with heaven, little Maximus Decimus, you know? While you're all in here in fake-ass names with fake-ass pictures, they're fucking cowards. Oh, they'll strike you if they can hide in the goddamn dark, but coming out into the light, they're not so good at that. In fact, they suck at it. Unless you're a fucking child. Then they're all big and bad and want to stick their dick in your ass. You know? This is all fucking pedophile bullshit that needs to be exposed. This is the shit. These are the very people that Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross protects. You know? Infinite Dodo Society needs to go too. They're just in here en masse. Most likely we have the entire Sewer Town group in here, all playing fucking games. because they think if they can do all this stupid shit that is very, very juvenile, then nobody's going to look at their little pedophile operation. That's what they think. You know? That's what they think. Is that if they do all their stupid shit, no one's going to look at their fucking pedophile operation. That's why I'm here. That's why I've been here. And you want to know what's different between me and them? I'm here. My face. I've always been out there. My face. You know? I am over the target. That's the reason why they're in here doing the shit that they're doing. That's the reason why they're making video after video after video, making threats with the dead bodies and the guns and the threats, telling me I'm going to end up dead, and the suicide and my dogs and all of that stuff. It's because I'm over the target. Do they look innocent to anybody? To anybody? You know? I hope not, because they don't seem innocent to me, and they're not innocent. You know? It's only a matter of time. And there are important people who watch these lives. There are important people who watch these lives. And you want to know what, motherfuckers? You can hide in the dark, but I'll tell you one thing. Sharlyn ain't fucking afraid of you. Sharlyn ain't afraid of you. Smokey's not afraid of you. Susan's not afraid of you. Cognitive's not afraid of you. None of us are afraid of you. You know, you can do whatever the fuck it is you want to do. You're fucked in the end. The thing about power is those who want it struggle for it. So now they're just talking about people, because Shar is someone I haven't even talked about, and you didn't spell her name right, dumbass. You know? And she hasn't been involved in this for years. We haven't talked for years and years. And why? Because they targeted her. They targeted her like they targeted Owen. You know? They just didn't murder her because we ceased to talk. We stopped talking. You know? We still very care about each other very much. But I don't like to put people in jeopardy. You know? And this group murders people. They murdered Isaac. They murdered Owen. They danced around. And now they're all upset because all their shit's coming out. And so what do? They do all of this creepy fucking obsessive shit that just makes them look more and more guilty. Nobody looks at their shit and says, oh, wow, this is a group of innocent people. They don't. Nobody looks at it that way. Nobody's intimidated by their stupid shit. Nobody's, talking about it. Nobody's actually looking at them thinking, oh, everyone's looking at him. They make my point every time. This is a group of fucking murdering pedophiles who are hurting kids and will do whatever they can to whoever they need to protect their little fucking pedophile ring. And they'll come in here and they'll make all kinds of fucking threats, as they have. As they've just done today, as they did yesterday and the day before yesterday and all the times before. All those videos. Daniel Dowd isn't proving to anybody that he's innocent. In fact, just the opposite. Passing all those flyers around in town. That didn't hurt me. It hurt them. And it certainly hurt Neil Gross. Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, who's been telling everybody that I'm a paranoid schizophrenic and all this shit is in my head. Funny, if it's all in my head, this is one fuck of a delusion. You know? Oh, funny. Plato says they might as well create a username under the handle. I'm not a Fed, I swear. Exactly. Anyone can use the mod email and remain anonymous. anyone can use that and remain anonymous. We will not release anything, and I don't even have direct access to that. Sharlyn deals with it. You know? It's easier for me that way. Fuck the Fed. And it is exhausting. It's exhausting. You know? Who's training these people, Plato? The CIA. And you can't say that because then everyone says, because the CIA, I guess, that either doesn't exist or they're like, they live on Mount Olympus. That's how it works. But Thomas works with the CIA. If you go look at that Robert Steele interview with the Vice News people, they just simply had to mention Thomas Schoenberger's name and that dude got up and walked out of that interview. The whole reason why Shane Bugbee, who was a co-founder of the Satanic Temple, got out of it is because Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, told Shane Bugbee that he was working with the CIA. You know? Who has a history of overthrowing governments all over the world? The CIA. Who has a history of doing all of this bizarre, secret shit? Lilith, why don't you go fuck yourself? Why don't you go fuck yourself, Lilith? And you want to know what, sweetie? People are donating to me. That's what your problem is. That's why you have, that's, you know. I'm going to have to get off here because this is good that my phone's going to start ringing now over and over and over. I haven't talked to my friend in a while. Ever since all the weird-ass videos. Ever since the flyers. We haven't talked since the flyers. But I'm in a, you know, better mood. I don't even know who Chris Jericho is. Again, they're all in here with anonymous names, talking shit. You know, thinking that there's something and somebody, and that everyone respects them, and what they say, they're the authority, but nobody even fucking knows who they are. It's delusional. You know? It's delusional. And people don't respect them. I think that's their problem. Nobody respects them. Thank you, Susan. I should get off here anyway, too. I am just sweating. Susan, it was wonderful. Katie, ASC. You guys, this has been great today, guys. These lives have just gotten better and better and better. They're not respectable. Nobody respects them. You know? Nobody respects them. Afraid of their psychotic bullshit? Some people are, but that's not the same as respecting. And then there are others of us who don't give a shit. That we're not afraid of them, and we certainly don't respect them. You know? We just look at them like they're pieces of shit. Because that's what they are. In fact, they're not even pieces of shit. They're the shit that the shit ate before it became shit. You know? Thank you, Katie. But let me tell you, everyone in here, something happens. Hey, Saki, something happens. There's going to be a collective outcry if they end up doing anything. None of us are isolated anymore. We're not isolated. And we don't work in secret like they do. And we're not isolated. And for them, you fuck with one of us, you're gonna fuck with everyone. That's how it's gonna work. And they know enough of your names that they'll be able to figure out who the fuck it is. Thomas Schoenberger, Corey Daniel, Daniel Dowd, Gio Farnsworth, Tara Joyce, DeFango, Craig Sawyer, Ron Patton, Gabe Hoffman, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Over and over and over. I just keep saying the same names over and over and over and over and over. Because they're all connected. You start investigating them, you'll find out a bunch of shit about these fucking pedophiles and this big ass ring. Fuck Epstein. He's dead. He's no longer even a figurehead anymore. But this group is what you need to focus on. The entire group that I just named out. Start investigating them. Because they're the ones who are alive. They're the ones in it now. They're the ones doing the shit. And I'm sure once you start investigating them, it will lead you to more. You know? Ron Patton and all of his little fucking coven in Olympia, Washington. All the people he's connected there. You know? Fucking dumbasses. You know? They'll call all of you guys names and they fuck kids. Isn't it so just kind of ironic? They're thinking that you are gonna all run because they call you names, but they fuck kids. You know? If you run from someone who fucks kids, then you need to actually reach down and grab those balls, male or female. Because I know a lot of women who have bigger balls than some men I know. You know? Standpoint, Idaho. That's just, Katie, I keep telling people. There's a lot of us in here. We are the nicest people until you break down on us. And then it's like biting down on tinfoil. So with all the threats that we've had in here, and the death threats that they're making to me, that I just got screenshots for the people sent me of the videos that they're making and all of that stuff, I actually have to get off here because I want to send this shit out, because I'm going to actually bring up the stuff that now they're threatening Sharlyn, you know? There's a national forest on the Idaho-Montana line. Cedu Boarding Schools. CEDU-ASC. Big Al, go fuck yourself. You wish. You wish. You guys are just so sad. I'm way too old for you. You like 9 and 10-year-olds or younger. You know? Oh my God. It's time to get off here because it's just full of... They're just going to come in and actually just do whatever they can. And we're at 1:30. I said I was going to pray twice. I'm praying again. And then this is over. And I'll be back in on Tuesday. Tuesday at 11. Tuesday at 11. Thursday at 11. I like to stick to those Tuesday and Thursday at 11 pretty stringently. Sundays, I try to get here at 2, but like today it was 4, you know? And so I should... Rabbit Hole, this is the book that I wrote about the child trafficking that I was trying to expose. I got nominated for Book of the Year when I published it. PayPal and Venmo is just my first initial, my last name. $30 for the book if you're in the States. If you're not in the States, text me or email me. because I have to figure out how much the postage is, and so I have to add the postage to it. But if you live in the States, it's $30. Tell me where I'm sending it and who I'm sending it and who I'm inscribing it to. I try to keep up on that. I don't think there's anybody that I haven't sent a book to. I'm pretty good at actually getting that out the very next day. And so remind us of having our hearts full of love. Fill your hearts full of love. That's going to be in my prayer. I'm going to end up doing a prayer right now. davidshurter.com. That's the blog. All kinds of stuff. Oh, I always sign them, ASC. If I send you a book, if you buy a book from me, I always inscribe it and I always sign it. You know? And so I'm going to pray. Heaven, I come to you. Let the information that I have shared in this blog get to the right people and have all of this start to get investigated. Protect Sharlyn, protect Smokey, protect me, protect all of us. You know, surround us with your protection, your angels. But it's your will, not ours. So whatever happens for a reason, and it's your will. But these child fuckers need to be brought down. And we are all praying from the depths of our soul that you bring these pedophiles to their knees. And I just hope that the stuff that I just keep saying, the names that I have said over and over and over, that someone with some authority will actually listen and do the appropriate thing. That's all we're asking. And we say these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. I would counsel survivors. You know, I think that's what my book, someone just left me a message, a comment on one of my videos who had read my book, and it was a really nice, but I've heard this before because so many survivors have read my book and then thanked me because they knew that they weren't crazy, that the stuff that they remembered, it validated them and has made them stronger. And so I will say that's the best. I may not have saved any kids with my book, but I sure the fuck have helped a lot of survivors throughout the years. You know, because that's what they do. They end up isolating us and convincing us that we're crazy and that no one's going to believe us and that no one actually is going to, you know, you're my pleasure, Katie. Well, that's probably the wrong word, but what ends up happening is that survivors tell me, you know, thank you, because now I don't feel so alone and I don't feel crazy, and you know, and I'm grateful for that it's helped people. You know, I'm grateful for that, because they isolate all of us and then tell us that we're crazy, and if we tell anybody, everyone else will think we're crazy and no one will believe us, and that's all bullshit. We're in different days. We're in different fucking days. And you want to know what proves our point the more than anything? Their attacks. Just in here today, do these people seem like they're innocent? Making death threats, making all kinds of innuendo threats and all of that. Do they seem like they're innocent? Do they seem like they're law-abiding? That they're even fucking normal? You know? Because if you think that, then you need to go to counseling, or at least pull your fucking head out of your ass because you're about ready to asphyxiate. That's how, you know? Oh, they're afraid. They're afraid because there's no loyalty with them. And they don't realize how many of them are already throwing each other under the bus. Because this shit is already happening. People are already looking into this. It's already being investigated. That's why they are so compelled to do the shit that they're doing right now, because they're more aware of it than any of us, you know. They're more aware of it than any of us. They know their shit is getting ready to be exposed. And not one of them trusts the other. You know? Not one of them trusts the other. Oh, fucking crank that wood chipper fucking thing up. You know? I do have to say, I love that whole vision, that whole concept from JD Delay. You know? I don't know if he would like me. I don't know if I would like him. But I do appreciate a lot of the work that he's doing. There was one day that I was pissed. And I saw something and I was mad. And it was Sharlyn who told me, dude, you need to get over yourself. You need to go look into JD Delay and see what the hell he's doing. Because he's doing a lot of good. And she's right. From what I can tell, he is doing some good. He's definitely getting exposure. You know? And what's happening is that people are, you take one side or the other. You're either okay with the fucking child fuckers, or you fucking hate them. There's no middle ground to it. You're either one of them with the child fuckers, or you're one of us and just want to see them brought to their knees and more. Cast into the fucking abyss. Fuck the wood chipper. They need to go into the abyss. For eternity is what they need to do. You know? And we will all get the popcorn, Katie. And the wine and the celebration and the pot. And we will sit there and cheer. You know? I don't know what the purpose for their message is. I don't know what the purpose is their message is. I'm just some podunk. I'm certainly not viral. I have, a little over 8,000 people who have watched, and it's taken me 2 decades to get that many people. You know? Who cares? I'll keep doing whatever God needs me to do, and it's not about popularity for me. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the quantity for me. It's about the quality. And as far as I'm concerned, I have high quality people watching me and interacting and dealing with this. I think most of you are incredibly high quality people. And you just needed someone to tell you it was okay to take a stand and strike back, you know? And what they're afraid of is the truth. They're afraid of the light, which is, most of us are light bearers. So, you know, how effective? The thing that scares them the most is the light. And we're all light bearers. We like to shine the light on the shit, you know? We need to get a hold of a media tower. Sanders says, oh, it's not only okay to take a stand, ... But you didn't finish it. Like the movie They Live. I love that movie. I thought it was just a great movie. And so poignant. So poignant. Oh, it is an old movie. John Carpenter. You know? We must take a stand. Don't be so afraid to take a stand and realize you're not alone. There's a bunch of us taking a stand. You know? And I don't think any of us are going to quit. I just don't. We are standing. Just like Sharlyn said, we are standing. And none of us are going to quit. You know? Okay, I got to get off here. I don't like to keep them too long because then people, I almost don't want to get off here because you guys are just amazing today. But if I don't go inside, the ones that don't want to leave my side aren't going to go inside, and I know it's too hot for them out here. That is true, Techno Kid. The fact that we are being deprived financially and socially is a clear sign that they are really scared. They're very scared of what we represent. They're very, very afraid of us. And more so, they know that not one of us is afraid of them. Not one of us is afraid of them. They just fucking threatened Sharlyn, and look at how she reacted. They threatened Smokey. Look at how he reacts. Look at how all of us react. You know? And that's just 2 names in this whole list. We're all the same way. We're not afraid. In fact, most of us have the same 2 words that come out of our mouth right after it. Bring it. Bring it. Exactly, Smokey. Bring it. Don't be hiding in the fucking shadows, making stupid fucking videos and little posts and coming in here as anonymous people and making little insults and shit like that. But you ain't gonna like it. You hurt one of us, you're gonna have a whole rash of shit come down on you. And it won't make any difference which one of us you hurt. Because we're all connected and we all care about each other. And more importantly, we care about God and we care about kids. And that's how it's going to work. And we don't throw each other under the bus. No one is left behind in our group. We don't leave any of us behind. So keep that in mind, and I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.